This has been a challenging year for everyone involved in the school system. 5 metro area school districts have seen their superintendents resign or retire in just the last year. Nearly 40% of Colorado kids are in a district without a permanent leader. Denver 7 education reporter Nicole Brady has been covering this story all year. And Nicole, districts now in the hiring process maybe competing with each other.
Yeah, we know this is a competitive process, Molly, because back when Denver Public Schools hired Susana Cordova, they paid more than $160,000 to a search firm, and she only ended up being the superintendent for 2 years. I spoke to some insiders about the importance of this position and how districts are recruiting the next leaders of your children's schools. There are many reasons why people leave jobs, but 5 Colorado superintendents in less than a year is unusual.
There's no set playbook to reference in these situations, so it becomes that much more daunting for any superintendent to lead.
It started last summer in Jeffco with Jason Glass, followed by Thomas Tucker in Douglas County, Susana Cordova in Denver, Sandra Smizer in Poudre Schools, and Scott Siegfried, who will leave Cherry Creek Schools at the end of the semester. One superintendent still standing, Rico Munn in Aurora Public Schools.
But I think there's definitely a demonstration of a challenge when you look at the 10 largest districts in the state and 5 of them do not have a permanent superintendent kind of going forward into next year. That's close to 500,000 students. That's billions of dollars of assets where there is no CEO in place. That should be of concern to the entire community.
It's a concern to Edward Quinones with advocacy group A+ Colorado.
I think that these 5 districts are essentially going to be competing against one another for, the best candidates, and I think the bar for superintendents is changing.
Douglas County hired executive search firm Frederick Andrews. Managing partner Tim Demers says while they've encountered candidates who are talking to the other local districts, he doesn't think they're competing.
They're looking for very specific things for Jeffco, looking for very specific things for Cherry Creek, very specific for DPS. So those specific searches are not necessarily exactly what we're looking for here.
Douglas County, where 89% of students identify as white, has drawn attention lately for a lack of racial diversity and equity. Demers says they've posted the superintendent job on diversity job boards and have directed some marketing efforts toward diverse candidates.
And what we're looking for ultimately is the best person for Douglas County, but we're also looking to make sure the best person is inclusive of everyone.
In Denver Public Schools, Quinones says representation matters. The district is 77% students of color and 37% English language learners.
I think that the community would say that Denver Public Schools needs people of color leading Denver Public Schools.
One thing is certain, 5 new leaders will soon oversee more than 300,000 Colorado kids. There will be huge challenges getting them back on track and restoring normalcy to their lives. The job of the superintendent likely won't get easier.
This is the person that's in charge of changing the trajectory of our children's future, right? And they're going to make decisions that are going to impact our children's future for many, many years.
So what is next in the process? Well, Jeffco and Douglas County Schools have already closed their applications. So we could hear finalists soon in those districts, and there will be community town halls next month likely so the public can give feedback. We expect most districts will make hiring decisions by May, so the new leaders are ready to take the reins in August.